How you doing?
Hi Rick, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Hi, hello, hi everyone. Welcome to our webinar. My name is Tim. I'll be your host for today's presentation, and I have Rick Young. He's gonna be our co-host for webinar. Hello, Rick.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Glad
Uh,
to be here.
okay, awesome, awesome. So I just want to welcome everyone to our webinar again, and just to explain a little bit more who we created that webinar for, and we decided to do that webinar just to do a quick introduction to our company, Rodjack Solutions LLC, and the reason for that, someone probably following us on LinkedIn, and probably someone heard about our company and what we do, and about our uh, main product, the Rodjack. So we just wanted to get you a little bit more information about our products and services. So, and the it will benefit everyone who heard something about us but didn't have didn't have opportunity actually to get in touch or actually get that information. Maybe that'd be helpful for us, for all of you guys. Okay, we'll just start with a quick introduction. As I said, my name is Tim Haranov, and I'm the co-owner and CEO of Rodjack Solutions LLC, and I have over 20 years of oil and gas experience in mainly production operations and engineering. And I also have a master's degree in petroleum engineering from Ufa State Petroleum Technology University and management diploma from University of Calgary. And our co-host and guest for today's webinar is Rick Young. Rick is a Rodjack inventor and also co-owner and CEO of Tabit Inc. This is a Canadian company. Um, and also Rick is a co-owner and a chief operating officer for Rodjack Solutions LLC. Rick has over 40 years of field experience in worksite supervision, completions, and well servicing. Also, Rick, he is a U.S. patent holder for his Rodjack. Hello, Rick, again.
Hello.
Okay, just a quick webinar outline. So we will just quickly, briefly explain to you the reasons to use the Rodjack, the benefits of it, and how companies, oil and gas companies, operating companies, they can save money and start actually saving money today using the Rodjack for their Pumpjack maintenance or other operation. And also we'll talk about key components about our product, about installation process, and we will talk about various type of applications the rod jack can be used for. And at the end of our presentation is going to be a Q&A time. As far as we're doing this offline, so I prepared some questions for Rick, and will be happy to ask those questions. And also, we will share our contact information and actually how you can get in touch with us. All right, with this all being that said, Rick, I'll just hand it over to you, and yeah, you can please tell us a little bit more about your uh, the Rajak, about your invention.
Well, it was a simple concept, probably more so when I was out doing some pump changes for an oil company. I'm gonna make this really fast, but I had an operator was late for getting to location, and basically I finished the job, tested the pump, press go, everything, shut the pump jack down. Yeah, and I left the motor running, phoned the operator, told him that he can fire it up when he got there, and I took the rig and went to another location. Well, I get a phone call, and the operator said the well isn't pumping. So, anyways, I said, well, I'll come over and give you a hand to put it on tap, seeing as how he didn't know how to remove a gas lock, which I thought it was a gas lock in the bottom hole pump. Anyways, I get over there, and he was not interested in knowing how to put it on tap. So, of course, that I started brainstorming like, there's got to be an easier way to do this. If a guy does not know how to run the pump jack and be able to move that rod string lower or raise it, I thought there was another way of making it work, and that's when I come up with the rod jack, just a simple way to move the rod string. And every day in the oil field, every day in the oil field, there's some reason or another to move that rod string, whether it be, a gas lock in the bottom hole pump, or maybe unseat the bottom hole pump to do a flush, a hot oil, even wellhead maintenance. Like, to do wellhead maintenance, change out the stuffing box. The rod jack can lower that rod string right down, close the rod BOPs, strip that stuffing box off, strip a new one on. It's just that simple. So, I mean, I basically designed it to put wells on tap, but then I thought, well, why can't we go a little bit further, beef it up, and make it for, build it for 45,000 pounds, because most wells that I've worked on, that's really a good number to work with as far as being able to handle a rod string. So, yeah, that's where it come from, Tim. Is just out brainstorming, trying to find easier ways to do things, and then it just all spiraled from there of what else we could do with it. Absolutely. So basically, what you see in the top left corner is the base. That particular base sits on most wellheads. And then of course in the bottom left you got the carrier bar, pretty much similar
Yeah.
to what a pump jack actually has. We've designed it for 45,000 pounds, and then over to the right is the combination of everything: the hoses, the battery powered remote control, the hydraulic pump, and everything that can actually be loaded on a quad and yeah, moved into a remote site. You know, do it all by battery power.
Yeah,
We
and there's a total weight of 130 pounds or 70 kilograms. This probably
Yes,
can be one man operation because it just probably doesn't require any like heavy duty pickers or anything like that to rig up or rig down. Correct?
that's right. It breaks down into five pieces, which makes it easy to handle for one man.
Perfect.
Um, and then we have our solar powered trailer here. So the trailer was designed. If you look on the side and you see all the artificial lift, the tech services, solar powered, those are all the things we offer now that you and I have teamed up down there. We offer a lot of services, really, other than just the rod jack. But yeah, this thing actually, the trailer is set up so that as it sits outside, the solar charges our batteries for us, and we can be ready to go out the door the next morning. To the left, or to the right, sorry, we've got the toolbox unit. The unit can just fit in toolboxes and ride in the back of your pickup.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's actually this is yeah my truck, and I loaded up to my truck, and yeah, it's actually fits in very well. So, and just a quick question about the solar power, sorry, solar panel, and it's on the top of the trailer right here.
That's correct. Yes, you bet. You can just see the dark edge there of the solar panel. I think it is actually a 3 foot by 4 foot panel, I believe it is,
Hmm.
or maybe a bit bigger, maybe a 4 by 5. Sorry, I
Yeah,
I
it's a
don't remember. I haven't been up there too many times.
yeah, no, 100%. No, fair enough. Okay, let's go to
Man
yeah.
operation, and we basically 30 minutes to rig it up. We like to take 30 minutes to rig it up so it's all ready to go. We have I have hoisted rod strings up to 10,000 feet. So One man operation, 30 minutes to rig in, be able to handle a 10,000 foot rod well.
Okay, let's jump on type of applications for the rod jack.
So the first application we got listed there is pump unseats. So what we can do with this unit with we use a digital load cell that's really precise on weights, and what we do, you can see it there. Tim's got the pointer on it there. Very handy unit. I mean, this unit goes hand in hand with the rod jack. It's a handheld monitor. Basically sits in your hand. And it'll sit there and give you the actual load of the rod string, and then you can sit down and compare it and do your calculations on the rod schematic, and everything's fairly close. So yes, we come in, we unseat bottom hole pumps for any application as in hot oil or chemical flush or an inhibitor flush. We can change out polish rod. I've changed out 36-foot polish rods with this unit. You can change out liners, wellhead maintenance. We can change out rod rotators, rod BOPs, stuffing boxes. I mean, like I say, there's a handful of operations you can do with the rod jack that are, every day they're being used in the oil field, and either they're being used by a crane, a rig, or the pump jack. And many people use the pump jack for different operations, but this is control. We are so in control with this unit. Okay, so this one in particular was a well in northern Alberta. What was happening with this well, as you can tell by the picture to the left and the picture in the middle, is this stuffing box was actually passing hydrocarbons. So we had a company that let us come in, and actually, to be honest with you, this was our first job that we did with our rod jack. We come in, unseat the pump tubing volume, and basically we had some pressure on the casing side. So all we did is we tied in a 4-foot stack and just, took that casing pressure to the path of least resistance, kept our tubing full, and then we performed an oil well suspension. I jacked the polish rod out to the connection of the rod string in the bottom of the polish rod. And if you see to the far right, the C tools, what they do is they fit right inside and on that tubing bonnet. The lip of that C tool sits right on that tubing bonnet. The rod string sits right in that saddle, and your rods are in suspension. Now, people ask me, well, why do you not just back the polish rod off or break the polish rod, lower the rod string, back the polish rod off, and leave the rod string sitting in the PSN? Well, the reason why we do this is on these pressured up wells is so that when somebody comes in to either reactivate this well or to abandon it, they can actually pump down the tubing right away, kill the tubing. You don't got the pump sitting in bottom and they have to work in to go in and get that pump, rotate on the rod string and do that. So that's why we leave them sitting in the C tool. It makes it so much easier. And then, yeah, we just basically hang the rod string, break everything off above the tubing bonnet, as you can tell. The rod BOP, the T, stuffing box, that's all removed. Rod strings hanging, collar, swedge, 3000 psi ball valve, and then basically a needle valve. And this well is capped. No more hydrocarbons passing.
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's a big thing for sure. Yeah, let's go to the next one.
So this well here was a shallow well that we kind of went out and did some tests on for a guy out in Oklahoma, and basically what it was an orphan well that he had bought within his wells, and he wanted to know what the scenario was with this. So we come in, rigged in, we did a pump test, confirm that there is some kind of action, and then we decided to take fluid shots. Took a fluid shot on the casing, took a fluid shot on the tubing, and of course the fluid in the tubing was still holding. So we were only like 15 feet of fluid level in the tubing. And off the top of my head, I believe we definitely had a nice fluid level in the casing. So I just kind of, the trailer is actually semi-automated. So we just basically set it up and started pumping. And next thing you know, we've got a 5 gallon pail full of oil and a happy customer.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, no, that's another type of application, short-term pumping
Well,
and
and then the
testing.
other thing is, Tim, the really nice thing about this, back to that load cell, is we can do a dyno on that bottom hole pump. So we can give them not only do we give them an excitement that there is some activity in that pump, we can tell him that he's got a really nice card out of it.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I believe that's going to be our next slide about dynamometer testing.
Perfect.
And yeah, so this is actually, we have one dynamometer testing, and we have a pump card from Ecometer, and this is a load cell you've been talking about. We have the load of 1944 pounds, and this I believe was like a parted rod or something, a case. Um, so, and I believe that was like too low for the rod string you've been working on, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah. Yes, you bet. So that weight in general right there did not add up to the depth of the well. So what I even tried doing on this well was lowering it back down, rotating back into the coupler and seeing if I could, maybe it was a back off. Sometimes what happens is those rods will back off. But what I did is I lowered it down, and each time I lowered it that foot or whatever, I lost a whole bunch of weight, and then pulling out of it, I gained a whole bunch of weight and then lost it immediately, which tells me that it's a rod part and they're just going in by each other in the tubing, in and out, sort of say.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, you did some sort of a fishing job for the customer. Also
Yeah,
with the
just prove to
the
them that it
yeah,
was it needs fishing. Yeah,
yeah, with the rod jack too. So yeah, and then I just want to mention here on that pump card that so we can see that actually the ecometer actually uh, showed us about 10 inch of stroke, but I think we didn't go too high on that well. But yeah, as you can see that it's just a 10 inch stroke, but it gives us 6 barrels per day displacement, and also the pump jack we've been stroking that well with 3.3 strokes per minute. So yeah, it's actually work as a tiny pump jack on the wellhead. So and let's yeah go to the next one. Okay, so yeah, this is just a brief introduction of the rod jack. Thank you, Rick, for that, for getting us some details on type of applications and key components of the rod jack. So, and I just have some questions for you. So, as far as we do this
absolutely.
offline, let's. I prepared some questions. So, you mentioned BOP changes and stuffing box and a lot of pump jack maintenance. So for the rod BOPs, do you need like a well control for that kind of jobs?
So legally in Canada, you do not need a well-controlled ticket, a BOP
Hmm.
ticket for doing any kind of work like that. If you remove the wellhead in Canada, you need a well servicing BOP ticket. So for what we're doing for well suspensions and polish rod changes, you don't necessarily need a BOP ticket for that. But I can assure you that anybody that has the time and the money to go and get their BOP ticket, it's a load of information. It's an understanding of controlling wells, and it would go hand in hand with this type of operation. But no, no, you don't need it, Tim. You don't
Okay.
need well control. You just need understanding.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. And also, I just want to go back to that well suspension, and then also I just want to hear your opinion on like on the stuffing box because we know and we saw a lot of wells with just a stuffing box and polish rod sticking uh, out of the well, and and I've heard a lot of from from oil and gas operations guys here in Canada as well and in the U.S. that they saying like, well, we'll get to that well when we have time and money. We'll bring the service rig, la la la. So, but why do you think that stuffing box actually a high risk of being for all these emissions releases and pollutions and all that good stuff?
Well, that's a really good question, Tim, and I'm glad we can we can elaborate on that because, in my opinion, there you and I both know we've seen many wells out there with the polish rod sticking out of them. Whether they're venting out of the casing, I mean that can be controlled. All you got to do is close that casing valve, right? But if they're venting out of the stuffing box, that's a different story. I mean, many people can come in and squash those stuffing box packing and maybe quieten it down for another day or two. But it comes to an end when those stuffing box rubbers have solidified, and now you've got a steady stream of methane passing out of that stuffing box. And to further on your question, there I don't know how many orphan wells throughout America and Canada that what's happening is this methane is passing, and we're trying to totally eliminate the methane issues. So we've got governments and people working with the governments to work on this methane problem. But the problem is there's not enough money to get to every well. There's not enough money to get to every well to abandon it properly. And what our services can do is come in and shut the methane off now. No, we cannot come in and abandon that well properly, but we can come in and we can eliminate the methane problem that's passing through the stuffing box and at a very economical price too. I mean, we can do a number of these and start reducing the methane problem.
Perfect. Yeah, I totally agree with you. So I would say that like a 2-inch ball valve and almost like 10,000 psi needle valve will I think they will do a better job than the stuffing box like this.
Oh,
Even with
absolutely.
even with rod radigans closed, it's still all those they consist with rubbers and some sealing
You bet.
elements that probably can be eroded over the time. Perfect. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Rick, for that. And just probably the last question I have for you. So also there was a in the beginning, I believe there was a low carbon footprint, right? We know again that's probably falls under that emission reduction, hot topic in North America. And I just wanted just kind of want to elaborate a little bit on that low carbon footprint utilizing rod jack.
Well, so I've had this on my mind for a long time. Like every day, I wake up for another reason for that rod jack to have a purpose. The one purpose that I see the rod jack in is actually using it for a solar pump jack. Now, I'm going to give you some ideas that we've discussed and talked about in the past, but for setting up a solar pump jack to be able to, for say, pump a shallow oil well, because we're not going to get this pumping on a 7,000 foot well. We've got to stick to 3,000 foot and under wells. We can handle it no problem with the rod jack, and we found batteries and solar setup that could actually make this happen. And when you got wells out in the middle of the desert or somewhere where there's no power, and basically those wells, all they ever run off of was natural gas, they're not running anymore. but they are still, they're still an asset. And to be able to move in the rod jack and set up a solar system on the rod jack and be able to have this automated so that it would, it would start on a timer, run through the evening, and pump off whatever it takes to pump that well off, and then basically shut down before the sun comes up. The sun and wind can charge those batteries again. Now that's on the oil end of it. I see this being an actual asset for shallow oil wells. The other end of it is, we've got a lot of shallow gas wells that load up. I mean, we know that the way that works is, the shorter the hole, the easier to load up and kill the well. So, you're continuing swabbing these wells. Whereas if you brought in a rod string, ran an insert pump on a slipstop packer assembly, you could pretty much set that anywhere you want in the tubing, which the best spot would be right into fluid, so that if this well is flowing and your flow starts to cut down, the jack would actually kick in and start help unloading that extra fluid. That you would never need another another vehicle to drive in there again and swab this, or you know what I mean. I mean, you can't swab with rods in the hole anyways, but I think this would be a fantastic way to keep those gas wells running, and not have to burn any carbons to make that happen. It's all off solar.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you, Rick. And yeah, also it can be automated, like it will the rod jack can kick in, when the gas flow is you know, tapping the critical flow, and this can be calculated, and this and the jack can kick in and start unloading that liquid, and so there's probably won't be any downtime for that well.
You bet.
Okay, no, that's actually all questions I have, Rick. Thank you so
Well,
much
today,
for answering
Okay.
all those. And just to wrap up our presentation here, yeah. So I just we wanna share just information, our contact information here. So when we would like to, continue our conversation, either over the phone, have a quick chat about the rod jack, and what actually our company can do for you, and for your operations needs. So you can, yeah, reach out either myself or Rick on at cell phone, or by email. And also we pretty active on social media like LinkedIn. So just search Road Jack Solutions and tab at Inc. And let's continue our conversation.
Well, I'll tell you, Tim, I would love to hear from, anybody that's in the position that we can help them out. Because, what it really boils down to is a conversation, to express what we can do, and basically get that opportunity, to go out and help them.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so thank you everybody. Let's yeah, as we said, let's keep in touch, and thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you.